Hi everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel, and today we are going to talk about bones of skull. Here at the side you can see the diagrammatic representation of skull in different colors, each showing different bone of the skull. So let's start our topic with introduction. Human skull is a complex structure that forms the head bony framework, protecting the brain and supporting the structure of face. It consists of two major divisions, the cranium, which encases the brain, and the facial skeleton, which forms the front portion of skull. These bones are fused in adults, providing both strength and protection while allowing for important functions such as speech, vision, and mastication. Now let's talk about cranial bones that are present in skull. The cranium is composed of 8 bones which encase and protect the brain. And these bones are frontal bone, 2 parietal bone, 2 temporal bone, 1 occipital bone, sphenoid bone and ethmoid bone. So here you can see the parietal bone and temporal bone are the paired bones, while all of the other 4 cranial bones of the cranium are the unpaired bone or the single bones. So let's talk about them one by one. First, frontal bone. It is located at the front of skull. As you can see here at the diagram, it forms the forehead and upper part of eye socket. Talking about the parietal bone, here you can see the blue color bone in the diagram at the upper region of skull is the parietal bone. It is paired bone. It is positioned on each side of skull behind the frontal bone, and it forms the upper side and roof of cranium. Talking about temporal bone, here you can see at the diagram the orange color bone is temporal bone. It is also the paired bone of the cranium. It is situated beneath the parietal bone on the side of skull, as you can see here in the diagram, and it contains structures that are important for hearing and balance. Next is occipital bone. Here you can see at the back of skull the green color bone is occipital bone. It is a single or unpaired bone, and it is located at the back and base of skull. It contains the foramen magnum through which spinal cord exits the skull. Further talking about cranial bone, we have sphenoid bone. Here you can see in diagram the pink color bone is sphenoid bone just anterior to temporal bone. It is a butterfly shaped bone that is located at the base of skull in front of temporal bone. It connects with the nearly all other cranial bones. Next is ethmoid bone. That here you can see in the diagram the red color bone is the ethmoid bone. It is a delicate bone located between the eyes. It contributes to the medial wall of the orbit and nasal cavity. Now let's talk about the facial bone. Facial skeleton is made up of 14 bones that shape the face, hold the eyes, and support the entrance to digestive and respiratory tracts. These bones include maxilla that are paired bone, zygomatic bone that are paired bone, nasal bone that are paired bone, lacrimal bone that are also the paired bone, palatine bone is the paired bone. Then we have inferior nasal conchae that are also the paired bone, vomer bone that is unpaired bone, and mandible that is also the unpaired bone of facial skeleton. As you can see here, two bones, vomer bone and mandible, are unpaired bone of facial skeleton, while all other bones are the paired bone of the facial skeleton. Talking about them one by one, we have maxilla that is the paired bone. It forms the upper jaw and central portion of face. As you can see here in the diagram, the green color bone in the facial skeleton is the maxilla. Then we have a zygomatic bone. There you can see in diagram the white color bone is zygomatic bone. It is paired bone. It is also known as cheekbone, and it forms the prominence of cheeks and parts of orbit. Further talking about facial bone, we have nasal bone. As you can see here in diagram, nasal bone, they are pair bone. They are small rectangular bone that form the bridge of the nose. Then we have is the lacrimal bone. As you can see in the diagram there, they are paired bone. They are smallest bone of the face. They are located in the medial wall of each orbit, help form the tear duct channel. Further talking about facial bone, we have palatine bone that are also the pair bone. They form the posterior part of hard palate and floor of nasal cavity. Then we have inferior nasal conchae that are also the pair bone. They are curved bones located inside the nasal cavity, and they help filter and humidify inhaled air. Further talking about facial bone, we have vomer bone that forms the lower part of nasal septum, and mandible that is the largest and strongest facial bone. It forms the lower jaw and is the only movable skull bone. Now let's talk about clinical significance of bones of skull. Knowledge of skull anatomy is essential in fields such as neurology, dentistry, otolaryngology, and forensic science. Skull fractures, congenital deformities, or surgical intervention often require a detailed understanding of these bones and their sutures. For example, the fontanelles in an adult skull are soft region that allow the skull to mold during birth and accommodate rapid brain growth. Now let's talk about conclusion of all this lecture video. The bones of skull form a highly specialized and interconnected framework essential for protecting the brain and supporting sensory functions. Their complexity reflects their delicate balance between strength and function, enabling vital processes such as communicating, sensory perception, and feeding. And this was all about bones of skull. Hopefully you liked the video. If you do, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and comment. Thank you for watching.